The conflict between neighboring Thailand and Cambodia has been ongoing for the third day now and is taking on the characteristics of a real regional war. At first glance, this is a traditional clash between two neighboring states, whose border issues are rooted in their colonial legacy. After all, the state border between Thailand and Cambodia was drawn at the beginning of the 20th century by France, which, as is well known, then ruled Indochina. But in reality, this is a so-called new type of conflict, which is connected to the global confrontation between the United States and China. The issue is not about who will control the territory around the ancient temple. The issue is that Thailand is the most important ally of the United States in the region, while Cambodia is an ally of the People's Republic of China. China is establishing its own bases on Cambodian territory. The United States is providing Thailand with the latest weaponry, and it is clear that whoever prevails in the conflict will determine the influence over the entire region. This can be compared to the Ukrainian-Russian war. Ukraine is supported in this war by the West, and it hopes for continued military assistance from the United States. Russia is supported in the war by China, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, Wang Yi, emphasizes that China will not allow Russia to lose in its confrontation with Ukraine. This may also be reminiscent of events in the Middle East. Israel is the most important ally of the United States in the region, a country that receives the latest American weapons. Iran, which in fact controls all the proxy forces aimed at destroying Israel and is itself ready for its own conflict with the Jewish state, is an important ally of the People's Republic of China, which purchases virtually the entire volume of Iranian oil, thereby enabling the Ayatollah's regime to maintain a certain level of social stability and even to develop its military program. Observers note that currently fighting between Thailand and Cambodia is taking place near the Mekong River. Chinese cargo may be transported along it for the Cambodian army and for the establishment of a future base of the People's Liberation Army of China in the area of Sihanoukville to control the South China Sea in the event of a larger scale conflict between the United States and the People's Republic of China. It is also worth mentioning that China's allies in the region include Laos and Myanmar. In Laos, a post-communist government has long been in power, one that has been oriented toward Beijing since the 1970s. In Myanmar, the country is ruled by generals who are outcasts to the democratic world, but who have special relations with the leadership of the People's Republic of China and the Russian Federation. So when we said that Russia's exhausting war against Ukraine is just the starting shot that will define the 21st century as a time of continuous struggle for influence between Washington and Beijing, we were not mistaken. Former Speaker of the US House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi was also not mistaken when, during her visit to Taiwan, she emphasized that we have entered an era of struggle between democracies and authoritarianism. But it is not the self-absorbed Putin's Russian Federation that is leading this struggle on the side of the authoritarian countries, but rather the People's Republic of China under the confident leadership of President Xi Jinping. China hopes not just to create a bipolar world, but also to significantly limit the influence of the United States globally. To achieve this, Russia, which acts as a proxy force for China, is now waging a continuous war in Ukraine, thereby trying to weaken both the European Union and the United States themselves, which, from the perspective of Beijing and Moscow, should be stripped of any political and economic influence in Europe. And in the Pacific region, in Southeast Asia, China has its own allies who will also be ready to destabilize American influence in every country that still looks to the United States. As is known, the conflict with Cambodia also led to a serious domestic political challenge for Thailand. The crisis led to the resignation of the country's prime minister, who had tried to resolve the conflict in talks with the Cambodian dictator Hun Sen, whose son is now the formal head of the Cambodian state. The dialogue between the now former Prime Minister Shinawatra and Hun Sen, during which she treated the Cambodian leader with respect, led to her resignation also because she effectively acknowledged that she held a different position on the situation between Thailand and Cambodia than the Thai military. As is well known, the military not only have the greatest influence on the political system in their own country and enjoy the full support of the royal palace, but have also established their own level of relations with the United States, which is counting on the Thai army as the force capable of stabilizing the turbulent region of Southeast Asia. It is also worth noting that the new conflict between Thailand and Cambodia began to unfold almost immediately after China managed to reach a special cooperation agreement with Vietnam. After the former head of Vietnam's state security agencies, General Tu Lam, became the new leader of this post-communist country, it is evident that the change of leadership in Vietnam to a more orthodox figure, who is more inclined to cooperate with Beijing than with Washington, also convinced China that it could begin advancing on American positions in the region. And thus, the conflict, which so far has lasted only 3 days, could escalate into yet another endless war, and we would then have several of them, an endless war with no prospects of ending in Ukraine. An endless war with no prospects of ending in the Middle East, and a new endless war with no real prospects of ending in Southeast Asia. And believe me, with each passing year and in each new place, there will be more and more of these wars. Thank you, friends. Stay tuned to this channel. Subscribe, follow my social media, and join my channels on Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and Donatello, which help support and develop these resources. Use the sponsorship feature on YouTube. Wishing you victory. Good luck.